Well, hello, Facebook friends and family. Today is day 19 of 21. We're almost at the end of the 21 days. Can you believe it? How fast it's gone? I know we've had a couple of reschedules and stuff like that, but still, it's like flown by. I can't believe it's been almost 3 weeks. So I apologize too if I'm a little distracted today. I just received some upsetting news about a dear friend who is kind of fighting for their life. They had a massive heart attack yesterday. So I'm keeping the name private on my Facebook page because I want to honor the family and the other people who I'm friends with. So if you guys all don't mind, at some point today, say a prayer for Sue's friend, just that she recovers from this and pulls through. So thank you for that. Okay, so Dawn, Ken, hello, all. I love you all. Thank you so much for popping in. Okay, so today we're going to dive right into self-sabotage. That is the topic for today. And self-sabotage, thank you, Ken. Self-sabotage is something that I think we all kind of engage in at some point or another. And it's kind of like, you know, what really first is self-sabotage? Well, it's kind of like I have these goals, I have this balance in my life, I have this awareness of what I need to do to get from point A to point B, and then all of a sudden I start kind of sabotaging those efforts, right? I kind of engage in other behaviors or thoughts that start to diminish my sense of feeling that I can complete that task. So it might be like, I want to lose weight, and I go along and I start to put a plan into place to eat healthier and to exercise regularly. And I go along for a while and I'm doing that great. And a while could be a couple of days, it could be a couple of weeks, it could be a couple of months. And then all of a sudden I notice I'm starting to kind of eat some of the unhealthy foods that I really miss and I like, and I start to eat out a little more and make some choices that aren't really following my plan. And maybe I'm tired that day and I don't feel like exercising, so I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow. That's self-sabotage, right? I have this plan in place, I have this vision, I have these goals set up, I know or kind of know how I'm going to get there to that end goal place, and I'm working toward it, and then I notice I start to behave in ways that are sabotaging it and kind of diminishing my effort toward reaching that goal. So what exactly then, where is self-sabotage really born from? Well, we spent the last 3 days, okay, forget yesterday because I didn't come yesterday, but the last 3 lives were on self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-worth. So we can have all this knowledge about the selves, right? This confidence, this worth, and this value, you know, this esteem, these beliefs, and these deserving feelings, and these knowingness thoughts, right? All that confidence, esteem, and worth, and still self-sabotage. So I could be the most confident person in the world in my ability to lose weight because I've done it before. I can have a high sense of self-esteem about my desire to lose weight and my success with losing weight because I've done it before. And I believe that I will do it again, even if the time and you know, who I am now is a bit different than maybe the last time I did it. Could have been, you know, years ago or something. And I can have self-esteem, self-worth about it that says I deserve to be thinner and healthier and more capable of doing the fun things that I want to do in my life. And so for all those reasons, I will be successful at losing weight this time. And then I begin, and all of a sudden I start self-sabotaging. And I'm like, what is going on here? Why am I eating this cupcake? Why am I eating out? Why am I ordering this poor choice of foods that I know don't serve me well and don't create an environment in my body where I can feel and be healthy on this quest to lose weight? And it's because a lot of it is based in fears. It's based in expectations. Again, this is something we've talked about for the last 18 plus days now, right? I cannot stress enough how our fears, our expectations, the expectations of others, the things we've learned from childhood on up create a scenario within ourselves that kind of create the ingrained programming that then develops into these thoughts and beliefs and behaviors that lead us down a particular path, right? So since there are so many saboteurs that can get in the way, there can be procrastination, there can be avoidance, there can be distraction, there can be the obvious ones like on the weight loss example, I start eating unhealthy. There can be a saboteur like I dislike my job, but I have to go to the job and make money because I need to pay my bills, but I really hate the job, right? It's not in alignment with my heart center. It's not my purpose and passion. And I just really dislike the job, but I don't want the pain of not having money and paying my bills. So I go to it, but I noticed I start calling in sick, or I notice that I start going in late, or I notice that I start doing less than my best at my job because I'm struggling and fighting against that which I really feel, which is dislike of my job, and that which I want, which is the money and the security of being able to pay my bills and stay in my home, right? All right, so like, if you don't believe in yourself, now this is a little different than just self-esteem, which is that belief in self, right? Like, I believe I'll be a good student body president. If you don't believe in yourself overall, which if you remember from day one, I said that one of the main things that I found through all of my clients all these years, and even friends and family, even myself, that was a common thread that most people struggle with is a belief in themselves, okay? A real belief in self. If I really believe that I am a good person with a good heart, that I am compassionate and kind and caring, if I really believe that I am worthy and valuable and deserving of having good, positive things in my life, if I really believe that I am capable of following my dreams and stepping into my purpose and my passion and my potential and my power and my possibility, that's a lot of P's today, then I would be fired up and fueled to take action from that belief. So when I don't, or I have begun to, and then I sabotage those efforts, it's because there's fears there, limiting beliefs, a lack of belief in self. There is this sense that I have adapted and adopted other people's ideas about me or about the world around me that have caused me to start to believe that I can't really reach that goal. I hope that makes some sense. So, excuse me. Sometimes it can also be simply about the perceptions. Okay, so we got into this a bit before. It's like, well, where does the belief, all these beliefs, really come from then? If I have a tendency to lack a sense of belief in myself, and I have these expectations that I have of myself or that I believe other people have about me, where did that really come from? Well, that's born from a place of perception, right? Because you cannot have a belief without having perceptions about these experiences you have. And a simple example would be for those that grew up in a household where Santa Claus was something that you celebrated around Christmas time, then you're not born out of your mama's tummy believing in Santa Claus. okay, you start to have experiences that teach you Santa Claus is real. And you begin to have those perceptions of those experiences that Santa is real, and you then adopt the belief that Santa Claus is real. And somewhere along the way in your life down the road, you could be 7, 8, 10 years old, doesn't matter, you have one experience at least that teaches you that Santa's not real. Somebody tells you that Santa Claus isn't real. You find the presents that are handwritten from Santa somewhere in your home. You recognize that the handwriting is the same from your parents' gifts to you as well as Santa. Like, there are about 10 common ways I found that people found that out. And that's not the important piece here. So, hello, Pauline, you made a live. That's awesome. I'm going to have to view it after this. Thanks for popping in, too. So, you have this new experience that says Santa Claus isn't real, and you go, well, wait a minute, that there's a conflict then. Just like we talked about with resolving conflict and confrontation, there's a conflict internally then that says, that's not true. No way, can't be, because you have learned to believe all these years that Santa was real, and now you're having a new experience that says Santa's not real. So there's this conflict, and we don't like conflict inside ourselves, right? And so we go, wait a minute, what is true? Well, I have all these experiences that said Santa was real. I have this one experience that says Santa's not real. I don't know which to believe, and so I go out and I seek evidence for it. So I may ask my parents, or I may wait to have another experience where it seems to confirm for me that Santa's not real, and then I learn to adapt and adopt the new belief that Santa Claus isn't real. How does this relate to self-sabotage? Well, because I've had this other set of experiences now that shifted my old belief system, now I have to believe that Santa's not real. I still have the remnants, though, of that old belief and that old perceptions of all those experiences I had that said he was real still within me. Think about it. That's why at the holiday season, those of us that are adults can recall that magic of what we felt when we were children and believed, and why we might perpetuate that lie for our children, because we love to see their joy and their happiness in believing that Santa Claus is real, and we get excited, and because we can feel it again too, it's because we're tapping into that old belief system that said he was real, even though as adults we know he's not. Well, it's the same as adults when we're talking about things about our lives and ourselves. I have worked to lose weight before. I have followed a plan. I have exercised. I saw the result that I lost weight. I believe that I am capable of losing weight. Years go by. I get heavy again. I want to lose weight again. Okay, I can do this. I lay out a plan, and I believe I can. But maybe my experiences with this time around aren't quite the same as the first time, just like with Santa. And I'm not sure what to believe yet. And I go along and I make the effort, but I'm not seeing quite the same results. So I'm still not sure what to believe. My perception has shifted. And so my belief is kind of wonky. And all of a sudden, I notice that I start to self-sabotage, because part of that is based on I don't know what to believe. I can only go by this, what I've already experienced, and now I'm experiencing this, which is slightly different, and I'm not really sure how to make sense of that. And so I tend to start self-sabotaging. And it can also be born then, so those are where the limiting beliefs come in and where the perceptions come in, and how they can create the self-saboteurs that distract us from our end goals or the things that we want in our life. But it can also be based on just flat out fear. What if you may have heard that a lot of people are afraid of failure. More people are actually afraid of success, right? What if I make it to this level? How will I maintain that? How will I appear to other people if I'm not always walking my talk 100% of the time? How will this go if I fall down? Will people still believe in me? Will they still look up to me? Will they still come to me for whatever the thing is, right? And so they become afraid, more afraid of success, and they start sabotaging themselves when they start moving towards success. Does that make sense, I hope? And I saw this a lot with individuals I worked with who were dealing with addictions, right? They were like, look, my family and friends know that I have a hard time staying clean and sober, that I go for some period of time and then I always fall off, and I go for some period of time and I always fall off. And look, they love me anyway. They're mad at me and they're trying to set boundaries with me, but they love me, and they're not gonna leave my life. They're not gonna stop loving me anyway, right? But what if I show them that I can stay clean and sober now for longer than I've ever done before? What if the most I ever did before was a month? And now I've done it for a year. What will happen if I fall then? Will they really become disappointed in me? Will they leave my life? Will they turn their back on me forever because they're like, wow, you did it for so long. Why did you fall off of it now? And so I likened it to like finishing a race where I have the finish line and I have 1 foot over the finish line and 1 foot behind, and I can't quite pull that foot over the finish line because there's a part of me that's really afraid that because I finished the one leg, what if I can't finish the second leg? Or what if other people expect me to finish the second leg and then I can't? So that's really where and how self-sabotage comes into play. So it's based on perceptions, it's based on of the experiences, it's based on your beliefs and the limiting beliefs that have been ingrained in you and that you hold. It's based on the expectations of others, it's based on your fears, and it's flat out based on some of the experiences that you have where you may have developed a sense of a lack of belief in your own self and your own abilities. And that, again, ties into some of the self-confidence and self-esteem and self-worth issues that we talked about over the last 3 lives. Okay, so what are a few little things that you can do to combat this, right? Because remember, these are just small little toe dips into these areas, and they're not big, huge, deep dives. Okay, the first thing you need to do is you need to write down, or again, if you don't like writing and you want to audio record it, that's fine, a behavior. What is one behavior that you would like to change or that you do or find that you sometimes do, where you know that you have a tendency to kind of self-sabotage yourself. So again, the weight example is a potentially really good example for a lot of people, where I engage in activities to lose weight, I set up a meal plan, I start to exercise, and this is something I do fairly often, and I always seem to sabotage myself. I like have that one cheat day, or I have that one cupcake, or those couple of cookies, or that big greasy fattening hamburger, or whatever it might be, and I notice then I completely fall off the wagon with it. Or I really want to get my office cleaned up, and I start to clean it up, and then I seem to get distracted with all this other stuff, and I never finish it, and then it piles up more, and before you know it, I have this really cluttered, messy office that just feels too overwhelming to do, and it just gets out of control. So one behavior. All right, then ask yourself, why do I keep repeating this behavior? Like, what am I getting out of this? Like, I'm not seeing the outcome I want. And, my outcome in the weight example is I want to lose 10 pounds. And I'm not seeing the scale move and the loss of those 10 pounds. And I really do desire to lose the weight, because I know that when I am 10 pounds lighter or 50 pounds lighter or whatever, I look better, I feel better, I have more energy, I sleep better, I move better, all those things, right? So I want the outcome of the lower weight and having lost weight. I'm taking the action to do that, but I always seem to self-sabotage. So why would I do that? when it's preventing me from getting the outcome. You have to ask, what is this giving me? What is that behavior, that self-sabotaging behavior, really giving me? And again, it could be a fear of success. It could be a fear of failure. It could be a sense that you don't believe in yourself. It could be a sense that you feel a lack of self-worth. It could be fear that other people will walk out of your life because now you act and look and feel different. Who knows? There's so many reasons why that can happen, but nobody can figure that out for you. You have to ask, why do I keep repeating this? And then the final thing is, what is really stopping me from changing it? Okay, so, all right, how is that different from why do I keep repeating this? Why I keep repeating this is because I have this fear of success, let's say, that if I get thinner and I'm healthier and I have more energy, then I will expect myself to be more productive, and I believe other people will expect me to be more productive. Okay, so that's kind of the why. But what's stopping me then from really changing it? What's stopping me now that I have that awareness of my why? Oh, I'm kind of afraid of that success. What's stopping me from learning how to move through that fear of success? What's stopping me from moving through the fear I have that if I clean up my office, then I will, or others will expect me to keep it clean all the time? And what happens if it gets messy again? So they're very kind of, intertwined. Wow, I told you in the very beginning of the live today that I'm a little distracted because of some sad news with a friend. And I don't know, because I was a little emotional earlier, I have probably gotten something in my eye. So I apologize that. Yeah, and I said I was distracted. I apologize. So with that, like, what is stopping me from changing it? Okay, so let's take kind of another little example of, I want to lose weight. I lay out the plan. I follow the plan. I'm doing great. I notice I start to self-sabotage. I'm taking a look at kind of, why am I self-sabotaging? Oh, because I'm afraid of success. Well, what am I actually doing that is sabotaging? Oh, I go to play video games. Or, oh, I start shoving cupcakes in my face every day. Or, oh, when I go to the store now, every time I go, I'm buying a box of cookies and I'm eating 2 or 3 or 4 of them a day. Or I'm giving myself the excuse that, it's okay. I can just, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll exercise twice as hard tomorrow. I'll eat healthier tomorrow. Okay, so what are the things that I'm actually doing? What is actually stopping me from following that? Okay, so you got to identify the behavior, ask yourself why, what are you getting out of it? What is it really about for you? And what am I doing that is stopping me? The behavior that is self-sabotaging. I'm playing games, I'm not exercising, I'm eating too much, I'm piling more stuff on my desk, all those kind of things. And recognize that self-sabotage is not that we don't like ourselves. It is a little bit, but it's really more about our fears and more about the beliefs that we have. And the only way to ever really understand those beliefs is when we peel that layer back of the belief, like a big blanket that it's covering up, those perceptions of the experiences you've had that are underneath that gave rise to that belief. That's the only way you can really move through a belief. So I hope that's been helpful. Since we're almost at the end, thank you, Pauline. I appreciate that, love. Since we're almost at the end of the 21 days, what I've decided to do is, of course, we're going to have the MP3 for the entire 21 days that will be just the topic and the solutions. You're not going to get all of the, hey, Dawn, how are you? Welcome. Thank you for being here in the recording itself, because I want it to be a very smooth day one. Here's the topic. Here's kind of what it's all about. Here are the few solutions, day 2, day 3, and so on. But I'm also going to bundle it with 2 meditations and a workbook. All these questions I've given you, I understand that this can be challenging to have to go back through each live and go, wait, what were the questions again? And try to write them all down. So I have transcribed all of the 18 days so far, other than today. I have transcribed the previous 18 days, and I'm going to put together a workbook for you guys that is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, with those questions and those little exercises for each day. And you could get all that for free if you just pop me your email address via private message. Just reach out and let me know that you're interested in that, you want that, and I will make sure that you get it at the end of the 21 days. I do have a course on self-sabotage, and again, I'm looking for a very small group of what I call beta testers, of people who are raising their hand and interested in a particular one of the courses that I have on one of these topics for the 21 days. And I only have 12 courses, but I'm only going to release 2. So majority rules. So if 4 people raise their hand for self-sabotage and that's the highest amount, then I'm going to go with self-sabotage, and it's going to be a live group class over a much more accelerated short time period, but you're helping to create more of it, right? Tweak it to where we're at in today's world and where you're at. So if you're interested in that potential beta opportunity to be a tester and a creator of this course, then again, pop me a private message and let me know that you're interested in that, and we will, rock and roll with that. So for now, I hope that you guys have a productive day and not a self-sabotaging day. I will be back on tomorrow at 2 p.m. and tomorrow we will do fears and negative thoughts. That's a big, huge one. So I love you all. Thank you always for being here. I will see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central Time. Have an awesome day. Ciao for now.